Hello.
Hello. Oh, well, I'm just.
We were ready for this long.
Well, that's because I'm here. I'm
You're
looking
watching
at
on
the
Rumble, and
Rumble
it's a minute behind.
because they were running ads.
So welcome everyone.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Bible Prophecy and Truth. My name's Dan. I'm the author of BibleProphecyandTruth.com, and this is my lovely wife, Kelleen, who is co-hosting and chat moderating, and our sister in Christ, Diane, is with us via Zoom, and is Kelleen's blood sister. And they're here. They're here to make it entertaining because I'm the teacher and I'm boring, and they make it fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I hope everybody's having a great weekend so far.
Yeah.
I wish it would really cool down. I was thinking that. I really wish that it would cool down.
Yeah.
You know, I really could use that.
So today we're going to talk about the news, of which there is a lot.
Hey, Jay.
And specifically how the news relates to biblical prophecy. And just so you know, I'm not here to make any money. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just a simple servant of the Most High God. And I'm just here to help people understand the truth of biblical prophecy and what's going on and dispel the lies of Satan and to preach the gospel. That's the only reason I'm here. Welcome, everyone. I hope you enjoy the show. And welcome, Jay. Good to see you in chat.
So would you kindly smash that like button, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with everybody you know. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any great uploads.
And
what did I do?
If you would turn on the banner, please.
You should just turn on the banner like when you.
I know. I forget though sometimes. I was in too big a hurry today.
Yeah, I got so many things to do.
So there's a banner on the bottom of your screen right now that is going to give you all of our channels and my websites and my email address and my X account and all that. So you can watch us from anywhere. The videos.prophecyandtruth.com website is completely ad-free because, like I said, I'm not here to make any money. I'm here to just preach the truth. So I'm going to share my screen and we will get started because there's a lot to talk about today. And this is part 3 of part 3 of the, what is it part 3 of? It's part 3 of the stage is set. How the world is ready for the end time. Satan has set it all up to bring out his Antichrist, and we're pretty much there. But first of all, we're going to talk about the news and kind of probably relate to some of that. But then we're going to talk about who is they, because we know there's a they, right? We know that somebody is pulling the puppet strings. And, you know, there's a lot of names for it. The Cabal, the elites, the deep state, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and basically all of the above is really the truth of it. But we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about who's really behind it all. But first of all, when is the end of the world? We talk about this every time because there's just stuff going on that nobody talks about, like the spike in the earthquakes that's happened over the last few decades. Welcome, Jody. Good to see you. And then today, I don't know if you know about what's been going on in Cuba, but they've been hit with hurricane after hurricane. They've had blackouts that lasted forever. They got another blackout since this last hurricane, this weird, very rare hurricane that just happened. And then they just got hit with a 6.8 earthquake today. A couple of back-to-backs, actually, because there was a 6.8 and a 5.9, or no, what was it? A 5.8. Man. 5.9. Oh, yeah, it was a 5.9 at 10:50, and then the 6.8 at 11:49, so a little bit later. The 6.8 is a major quake.
Wait, they got hit with 2?
Yeah, 5.9 and then a 6.8. Yeah, in the same area down here in Cuba. So yeah, this is it's just, I mean, there's so much going on. All of the signs that Jesus gave that would herald his coming. It's just wow.
It's vamping up.
Yeah.
Because that's a small island to have a 6.8.
yeah.
Cuba could be underwater.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's a 6.8 is a major quake. Yeah.
That's why I'm predicting that when God comes back, that there isn't going to be people all over the entire planet.
They're going to migrate.
They're going to be in one place.
Yeah.
After all,
they're going to migrate.
After all this stuff happens, yeah. And you never
Could
know.
be.
Could be
I'm
right.
not ruling that out.
You might kind of congregate on one continent somewhere. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I guess we'll see. So on to the news. Couple things. This is kind of backward news, but this came out where Hurricane Milton went through Florida. It was the second one in like 2 weeks, and FEMA ordered relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have heard that.
Literally, yeah, that really is. I mean, DeSantis is opening investigation into that. That is despicable. That's horrible. I'm glad it wasn't worse than it was. It was
really bad.
Yeah, and then there's so much going on right now after the election, right? There's 50 heads of state met in Budapest because they're worried about what Trump's going to do, right? They're afraid of what Trump's going to do with tariffs and all that. So the world is kind of holding its breath right now.
Yeah,
and it's really, really quiet too. Even the
China's pretty angry with him.
Huh?
China's angry with him.
Yeah. But everybody's kind of, even the elites and the deep state, whatever you want to call them, they're really quiet right now. The left, the Dems, everybody's just kind of, and they're still counting. If you didn't know, they're still counting in some states. California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, Colorado, and Alaska are still counting.
In Pennsylvania?
For Senate and Republican and House seats. They're trying to, I'm not going to say the word, but you know what they're trying to do, right?
Something dishonest.
They're trying to make sure that they get enough seats to filibuster and to block everything that Trump tries to do. It's just happening, and we just got to wait and see how it all plays out. But they better start some lawsuits and start demanding that there's an investigation and go in and do recounts. They need to do that immediately, in my opinion. But we'll see if it actually happens. FBI.
I know. People are so afraid he's going to throw everybody in prison. He didn't do it in the 4 years that his first term.
Yeah, he didn't
throw anybody
in prison. But they're afraid. And senior FBI execs are, they're scrambling to retire. There 50 senior execs are going to retire before Trump is inaugurated.
There's no right.
Because
they started something and they've scared themselves.
Yeah.
Not the rest of the country. They've actually scared themselves into thinking that he's going to do something.
Yeah,
I know.
He didn't do anything his first term.
But he's going to play hardball this time. That's for sure. I'm glad
it's his last chance.
Yeah, I'm glad he's going to. So we'll see how all this plays out, right? And then another. They threw Biden so under the bus.
They really did.
I don't really feel sorry for him or anything, but it's just something to talk about, right? This is how they stabbed their friends in the back, right?
Yeah, they did.
They throw him under the bus. Oh, it was all Biden's fault that Harris lost.
No, she opened her big fat mouth.
Yeah, she every time she opened her mouth, she ruined her chances worse and worse every time.
Well, him going on the internet and calling Trump supporters garbage didn't really help either.
No. That doesn't help anything. It seemed like Biden was actually working to sabotage her, but they hated each other in the beginning. They kind of were forced to work together, and and then when he got thrown under the bus, they he was really angry with her. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually sabotaging her purposely.
Maybe he's pretending to have a mental problem.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he's doing.
But and then the Department of Justice
so corrupt,
looking to wind down Trump criminal cases ahead of the inauguration. It's like, now are they trying to lull us into some false sense of security? I mean, these things that they're doing just don't make sense. It's like they're all of a sudden just going to give up. No way. They are not giving up. There's no way that's happening. So they're playing some alternate game. Remember, we talked about this before the election. We talked about how, Glenn Beck and numerous other podcasters were talking about how it doesn't matter which way it goes. They've got plans. They've got contingency plans for either way. And that, this little quiet time right now is it's the calm before the storm, I think.
It's too quiet.
There is no way it's just going to be peace and prosperity into the inauguration and everybody's just going to back off. No way is that going to happen. And then here, I point this out. Most people know this already, right? The polls, underestimated Trump's support. But the reason I point it out is because why do we even ever listen to the polls at all?
Oh, I don't know.
Because we've learned last time, this time, it was utter lies, complete fabrication, because it was not neck and neck. It was never neck and neck. It was a lie. And they were just trying to make us think it was neck and neck. So then, if they were able to make it turn out the way they wanted to, then they could say, well, see, it was so close anyway. No, it was a landslide. And, if there was no dishonesty, it would have been way more of a landslide than it was, in my opinion. But this, why do they even have the polls? Why does anybody care? Why does anybody listen to them? That's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, just wake up the next morning after the election and you know who won.
Yeah.
And so next time the polls, we might as well just might as well just tell them to shut up when they talk about the polls, because it's all just lies. And then Kamala Harris admitting that everything she said about Trump was a lie. Admits it.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, she admitted everything was a lie. It's like, wow. Lie. That's all they do. That's what she did. That's all they do. They just lie. They think we're stupid. That's one of the things we're going to talk about in Who Is They, the Who Is They article that I have. They literally think that we are stupid. And that if they say it, we're just going to believe it. That it's they're a bunch. Oh man, it just pisses me off. Anyway, they just lie through their teeth and then act like we're supposed to believe it. Oh yes.
Yeah, knowing the truth can be a gift or it can be really
a curse.
A curse. I appreciate every day
right?
God helps me to see the truth in everything. So when I hear someone lie, it's like, liar!
Yeah. Amen
Like,
to
I don't
that.
know what to do with that knowledge.
Liar.
Give us discernment, Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is what, it's really oddly quiet. It really is oddly quiet. And here's an article where, they're talking about, Laura Trump to Newsmax, right? The fearmongers have been oddly silent. It's like, it's really quiet. It's like, what's going on?
Well, they're
shell shocked.
No, what they're doing.
Hope they're afraid.
What they're doing is they're having meetings and they're talking about what they're going to do, what part of the plan they're going to implement next. Yeah. They're not shell shocked. They were really thinking they were going to win again, just like they did last time. But there was too many people that voted for Trump this time. It was too big to rig. Exactly.
Well, that's why I was saying that Kamala Harris just really seemed to not try so hard because she had this attitude like, I'm going to win anyway, so who cares?
I kind of felt like that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And that's why Biden didn't even
Well,
really
that was
campaign
Biden.
in 2020, you know, because he just hid in his basement. He came out once in a while, and it was all about hate Trump, hate Trump,
I
hate
know it
Trump.
says basement.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it was the front porch.
Well, yeah, whatever.
In
Hanging
a
out by the
rocking
pool.
chair. Hang on.
But, and then what I heard already is that they've called it for Carrie Lake's opponent. They've called it, or she lost, which is, when you look at the numbers, the day after the election,
She was ahead.
well,
think
here's
she
what
was
happened.
ahead,
The
right?
day of the election, the Democrats only had a 17% turnout on election day. The day after the election, they all of a sudden were at 50%. And they mysteriously found 25,000 ballots that they were unexplained. And then they've been counting for days, and then now they call it for the Dem. This is why they need to open an investigation, demand a recount. All of these states, you know, there's 10 seats in California that are up for debate right now that they're still counting for. You know, this is ridiculous. And, you know, they got away with it. I'm not going to say what they got away with, but you know what I mean. They got away with it last time. We can't let them do it again this time.
I just don't
That just
understand
is
why
insane.
their election day lasts for 6 weeks when ours lasts for a day. I don't
Yeah.
understand why they're allowed
People
to do
mail
that.
in ballots or something.
Well, we had
Well,
mail-in ballots,
Yeah, but it's all
Yeah,
but at
they're coming
midnight we stopped
from-
counting.
it's
They're coming
all
from
so
military
that
bases.
it's all so that they can, you know, have time to do what they want to do. Yeah. But you know, and this is about biblical prophecy, and you might say, well, this is all political stuff, Dan. What are you talking about? How does this relate to biblical prophecy? Well, you know, I'm not saying that Trump is a man of God. He doesn't appear to be, claims to be a Christian, but he doesn't talk about God really ever. But I really believe that God saved Trump.
Yeah. What's he talking about? You guys still on? We're here.
Did it stop? Did
I don't know.
it lock up or something? No. we're still
Rumble
going.
froze.
Oh, is it back running again? Looks like it is.
Well, you know, Jody said Rumble froze.
Oh.
Oh no.
Well, it looks like it's going on your computer there. So.
No, it's frozen.
Oh. Well, that's
Well, wait a
not
minute,
good.
Annie, put your hand up.
Well, it'll take a second, but yeah, I think it. Does it
No,
look
it
completely
froze.
completely frozen? Oh, great. Let me see. Let me make sure StreamYard still looks okay. Oh, we're having trouble downstreaming to your destination, which is Rumble. So something's going on with Rumble.
Why is that?
Edit. Let me save changes. Let me just see if it'll reconnect magically for us. Hopefully Rumble will come back. We're probably streaming everywhere else just fine. So yeah, it doesn't. It looks like it's completely froze. Great.
Yeah. Let me
Wonderful.
go over here to I know, sorry about that, you guys. So what do you want me to do? Remove what is this?
Well, yeah, let me try.
Okay here.
Let me try removing and re-adding Rumble back in and just see if it'll pick it back up. Hopefully. So I took Rumble out of the picture. I'm going to. Let me edit. Let me put Rumble back on. Save changes. So hopefully we'll come back to Rumble. It looks like it's nice and green now anyway. So it's got a nice green checkbox.
Okay.
So hopefully we came back to Rumble. Sorry about the interruption, everyone. So hopefully it will come back.
Let me
So
refresh.
anyway, how does this have anything to do with prophecy, right? Like I said, I believe that God saved Trump,
For real.
not necessarily because Trump is a man of God doing the work of God, but because God has a plan, because God needed Trump to be in office for things to progress exactly the way. So click on live, see if it'll go to the live.
This.
Or no, there is no live.
Refresh.
Yeah, try refreshing. Hopefully it'll come back. Well, that's nice. See if you can go to the end or something, what it does. So it's just stopped, and it's not. We got
Well,
people.
that's
We
not
got 15 people
frozen.
waiting. Well, it just stopped though.
No.
So there's 15 people waiting. So I don't know why it's doing that. Let me. We have other people on. We have people on.
Have them go to the
On
other.
X, we have people on Prophecy and Truth. We've got some other people on. So I apologize for this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why
Rumble?
Rumble is having a problem, but
Have everyone go to YouTube.
yeah,
No.
maybe just this is
Go to YouTube.
Rumble really causes a lot of
Yeah,
problems.
it does.
Sometimes.
Rumble is not.
Let me see if I can fix it here.
Sorry, but they did this. I don't know what.
Yeah, Rumble
It's not-
has problems.
I know there's still people hanging out.
And I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to go ahead
They seem to
and go
do
right
something.
now. And I'm just going to go ahead and say next. I'm just going to reload a new live on Rumble. And hopefully it will just work. I'm really sorry about this, everyone. Just please bear with us just for a sec. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to re-edit.
15.
I'm going to edit, re-add Rumble, and see if it'll go back on with the new live. And hopefully it'll work. Otherwise, I don't know what else to do. So
Jay
I
and,
apologize.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, you guys.
So go back to Bible Prophecy and Truth videos. Click on that right there. And
That's right
you
here.
might have to go, yeah. And then go scroll up a little bit. So we've got 2 lives. This should
One
be
person waiting.
This should be live right now. So this should be live. And
everybody dropped off.
Although this is a different live stream that I just started. I really apologize for this, everyone.
I don't know.
I hope everybody isn't just dropping off, because this one's going to DVR. So just tell everyone here that if you would type in right there that we're going to go back to the channel and do
what?
There's a new live stream that just started.
We're going back to the channel. And what? There's a new
live. So Rumble is still having a problem.
I don't know. I mean, if it's Rumble, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah. I apologize, but
I know. I don't.
What I'll end up doing is I'll end up just uploading the video later. So I just restarted it. It'll either work or it won't. I'm just going to continue the live for everyone else. So
yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Anyway.
Sorry, everybody. That's Rumble's fault, not ours.
I'm going to try to pick up where I left off here. So
yeah.
I believe God saved Trump because God needs this country to do whatever is going to happen, because God's plan is going to happen exactly the way he said it would. And in order for all of the things, the end time things that need to happen, obviously Trump needed to win the election. So, this is very relevant to prophecy because of what's going on in the world, the wars and rumors of wars, the sixth trumpet war that's coming soon, which will be World War III. All of the things that we're talking about and the stage being set is being set up right now. And this is all part of it. So it is relevant. We're going to talk more about this as we go on, but I'm going to look at some more news. Switching over to, the religion of hatred, because Islam is a religion based on Jew hatred. It's a religion that started with Jew hatred and is basically just its basis is hatred of Jews and Christians, is what Islam really is. If you're new to this channel and you haven't heard that before, please take a look. And if you go to BibleProphecyandTruth.com, and under the notes menu is Islam and the Bible, please take a look at this article, because it'll really, if you're like me, it will blow your mind and open up a whole new understanding of what's going on in the world when you see exactly what Satan has set up with duplicate prophecies. He has set up exact duplicate prophecies in Islam to fool the entire world when the prophecies of the Bible come to pass. So go to Bible Prophecy and Truth videos again and see if that other live is working. I doubt it.
How do you do it?
But it's still having a problem. I
know. Well, that's not our fault. Our fault.
Yeah, it's really, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to go here.
Is it this first one?
And it shows upcoming for some reason. I don't. I'm going to have to
just
tell everyone to go to X or
videos.prophecyandtruth.com
or YouTube or something, and we're continuing there. So, we get most of our views on Rumble, so it really is sad that that's all broken. But Rumble has a lot of problems. Anyway, so Islam being the religion of Jew hatred, of course, we're seeing lots of activity because Satan is setting up the world to hate Jews. Satan already has about half of the world hating Jews right now. It rose exponentially after October 7th, 2023. The propaganda that's been coming out of Islam for decades now has all of our youth up through college age today have all been indoctrinated in that Islam is wonderful, Jews are the enemy and should be hated. And that's why so many of the college age and kids are all on the bandwagon of supporting a murderous, rapist, pedophilia, woman-hating, evil religion of Islam, Hamas and Hezbollah, or it's all just Islam. So here's nothing surprising, right? And in Amsterdam, there was this huge, it was a huge, what do you call it? An ambush, where a whole bunch of illegal immigrants, right? They're invading Muslims, is what they are, massacred, waited and basically jumped on a bunch of Jews and just massacred a bunch of them. Some of them are missing. So probably just like October 7th, they took them as slaves and hostages. They're not really hostages. They're making sex slaves out of them and slaves out of them and beating them, torturing them, and, it's crazy that the level of, like, how does the world put up with this? In Pittsburgh, the imam in Pittsburgh saying that Sinwar, the murderer Sinwar, was a hero. This is in Pittsburgh. This is the level of demonic evil in Islam. And the Israeli minister calling to annex Judea and Samaria, this falls right into biblical prophecy in that the confirmation of the covenant, like I've talked about a lot, is when Jesus said that Jerusalem would be compassed with armies, and then the desolation would be nigh. So right before the Antichrist takes over the world, Jerusalem's going to be compassed with armies. And I don't think that Jerusalem is at war. I think compassed with armies means that it's going to have UN peacekeeping forces in Jerusalem, because not Israel as a whole. It didn't say Israel. It says Jerusalem will be compassed with armies, because Jerusalem will be split. Right now, East Jerusalem is Islamic, West Jerusalem is Israeli, and the West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria, is Eastern Israel, from basically East Jerusalem and over. And that's the hotbed that Jesus said, if you're in that area when the Antichrist takes over, just run, don't even get a change of clothing. He warned about that area because I believe that it's going to be a forced peace treaty. When the confirmation of the covenant is signed, it's going to be a forced treaty. And it will be UN peacekeeping forces, which are compassing Jerusalem to keep the peace and force it, especially around the Temple Mount, because they're going to get permission to rebuild the temple on that open area of the Temple Mount. And the Muslims are going to be trying to sabotage all that. So there's going to be armies in there forcing the peace. That's just how I see it playing out. Is Trump going to revive the Abraham Accords? This is what the world is going to expect. Of course, this is what most people, most Christians expect, that now that Trump is back or will be back in office, that he's going to revive the peace plan. And he was having great success with the Abraham Accords. So yeah, it would be wonderful if it actually happens. So hopefully everyone switched over, but
it's not live at all, right? It's not going to go
no,
live.
it's the people waiting. Just
I did.
Yeah.
Right here, I did.
Okay, so hopefully people will see that in the chat and go over to YouTube. Did you put the YouTube channel name in there?
The YouTube channel?
In there. Yeah, put youtube.com/prophecy and truth.
YouTube
.com.
Oh.
So that it's an actual one.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, honey. I know it's Rumble. YouTube.com/prophecy and truth is the actual channel address. Yeah. Prophecy and truth. Yeah.
Then it'll say live.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you click that, it should take you there. See if it does. Just for grins. Yeah, it did. So, okay. So hopefully people will just click that and go there. Thanks, then. But yeah, we hope. And here's the thing. You remember I talked about this last time, that my prediction is 2025 will be the signing of the confirmation of the peace treaty. That is the confirmation of the covenant that begins the final 7 years. And I went through a whole lot of studying and research and looking at metonic cycles and the phases of the moon and everything in the 7-year period. And it really looks like 2032 is most likely the year for the return of Christ. So that would mean the confirmation of the covenant would happen in the fall of 2025. Now that's just speculative, right? It's not any kind of prophecy from me or from God or anything. That's just me at my best guess of when it would be. Hopefully, and we
I
only have a
hope.
year to wait. Hopefully, we'll see it happen. If Trump is successful in bringing back the Abraham Accords, this could be why God saved Trump, so that he could progress through the peace plan, create the Abraham Accords, be instrumental in making the confirmation of the covenant happen. Big time prophetic implications here. So if that happens and we see this peace treaty signed in 2025, praise
People
God.
are wanting,
you know?
like countries are already saying that we need to get the Abraham Accords started back up again. I've heard people
I
saying
know,
that.
and they haven't
Trump
even
didn't say anything about it during this election, did he?
Oh yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Remember him saying anything about
I don't
it?
remember him saying anything specifically, but I do know
Well,
that
he's mentioned
he's
that.
going to pick it back up.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we hope. And then, talking about the confirmation of the covenant, here's Trudeau saying that the allies all need to go about recognizing Palestinian statehood because, like I said, I believe it's going to be a forced two-state solution. They're going to force it because they can't ever get Islam to agree to have peace with Israel.
No.
Their entire existence is to wipe out Israel. And, that brings to mind, I'm working on a new video / e-newsletter, an article on great detail about all the information in the Bible that we have about identifying the Antichrist and what he does. And, that's one of the things, the Bible tells us that he's going to attack Israel and try to wipe Israel out at the end. That's when Christ actually finishes his return at the Battle of Armageddon. And, Islam hates Israel. They want to wipe Israel off the map. The 10 kings of Revelation 17 hate the whore. This is all prophetically significant when we look at all this. And, wanting to recognize a Palestinian statehood means that it really looks like they're going to create a two-state solution because Palestine is not a state. I've got another article a little bit where we're going to look at that, where it was actually a region called Palestine, and it was done out of spite by Rome, 2,000 years ago, renaming Israel and calling it Palestine because of their, forever enemies, the Philistines. But we'll talk about that in a second. But this really does look like we're going to see a two-state solution forced. Whether or not the Abraham Accords kind of get a lot of countries on board, it's going to be that particular region that they're going to have to force it with Palestine, right? When they create a Palestinian state and create a two-state solution, and they go in there with peacekeeping forces to make sure that everybody keeps their cool, right? So that's going on. We'll talk a little bit more about it. Just another news article. If anyone new to this channel, if you don't understand the evil of Islam, that women are only equal to half a man. They believe in slavery. They believe in pedophilia. Rape is okay. Any man can rape a non-Muslim woman, and it's perfectly okay in Sharia law. Murder, rape, these are all okay in Islam. And, and here in Iraq, they're lowering the age of consent for girls to 9 years old. 9 years old is when a man can marry a little girl. And, and a 9-year-old is going to give her consent. They're forced into it anyway. How is this consent anyway? This is so evil. And I just pointed out, just for people that are unaware of these things, this is happening all over the place. And No, the mainstream media never talks about it.
No. Why should they?
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. And then here's what I was talking about. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. You know, the in Ireland, this is Ireland. This isn't even a Muslim country yet. Close.
Dublin.
Dublin is overrun with Muslims, but you know, the textbooks in Ireland are now saying that Jesus was born in a country called Palestine. And it's,
Okie
you know,
dokie.
and this is what I was talking about in this article. It talks about this very thing where, you know, that the year 134 AD is when the Romans expelled the Jews and then renamed the region Palestine. And it was out of spite. It was to be spiteful to the Jews and renaming their own homeland to the name of their enemies. And it's just, you know, Satan is behind all of this. And that's the thing we need to remember is this. We have to remember the war that's going on. There's a war raging all around us. The war between good and evil, the war between the darkness and the light, the spiritual battle that's raging in this world, that we all need to be part of the army of soldiers, wielding the sword of truth. If we're a Christian, we need to be a soldier in this army, fighting this battle. Here's another one. In Germany, the Hamburg public prosecutor prosecutes Iranian exiles. So they're prosecuting Iranian exiles, not because they did anything wrong in Germany, but because Iran asked them to prosecute the Iranian exiles that are in Germany. So is Germany becoming Islamic? Big time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, this idea of interfaithism, if you're new to the channel and you're kind of wondering about this idea of interfaith, Muslims do not believe in interfaithism. They're just waiting and biding their time, letting us all believe in interfaithism so that they can grow in strength before they take over. Don't believe it. You know, and I've talked a lot about the jizya, right? The only way you can live alongside Muslims without them killing you is if you pay them a tax, the jizya. And this is what, you know, here in Mali, Islamic groups are collecting the jizya from Christians, right? The only way you can coexist with Muslims is to pay them to let you live. And at the same time, you're not considered an equal. You're like a dog that they can kick around. They just, if you pay them the jizya, they won't kill you. I mean, this is the kind of existence that everybody who supports Islam, Hamas, Hezbollah, all of this, this is the kind of existence that people are promoting. I mean, who wants to go back to the barbarism and this kind of evil existence? This is just, we need to be aware of this. This is why, and you know, Satan is behind all of this. Satan is setting up the world to be perfectly fine with Islam and interfaithism. You know, he's using his snake, the head of the snake, the Vatican, to get everyone to believe in interfaithism, that we all really just worship the same God, when that is a lie from hell. We do not worship the same God. They'll tell you they believe in Jesus, but it is not the Jesus of the Bible. It's just, to them, Jesus was a man that died 2,000 years ago. He wasn't God manifest in the flesh. He didn't rise again. He is not the mighty God in heaven right now. They don't believe any of that. So don't let them fool you. They do not believe in Jesus. They'll tell you they do to put you off, to deceive you and mollify you. And then some more things, you know, this is all just brand new news. You know, in Vienna, Muslim girls set an Austrian girl's hair on fire and forced her to say, "By Allah, I'm not filing a complaint." You know, and then in Sweden, human rights activist gets prison for burning a Quran and insulting Muslims in Sweden. Sweden. They're throwing people in jail for insulting Islam.
Yeah.
Again, in Sweden, 2 out of 3 murders are committed by people with an immigrant background. So 2 out of 3 murderers in Sweden are the Muslim invaders. And this is who they welcomed in, right? All the people that are just, they're so blind to the truth. And then again, in Sweden, here's a politician that was jailed for criticizing Islam.
Wow.
In Sweden, they put him in jail because he criticized Islam.
Telling you.
I mean, Europe has fallen.
Oh,
and they're fast tracking this in the United States with the millions and millions of Muslim invaders that have come across our border. And we really, I am all for Trump doing a mass deportation of all these illegals. Absolutely. Before they do this to the United States. Yeah.
Right.
So, gosh, I really hate that Rumble is down.
Me too.
I wish I could just take a minute to go fix it, but I don't know. I probably have to create a brand new one and try to
just put it back up.
Put the new thing. Sorry?
Just put it up after.
Yeah, I'll just upload it.
Yeah, upload it.
After the fact. I'll download it from StreamYard and upload it.
Yeah, because we have a lot of people who watch afterwards, so you can just put it back. You can upload it.
So I'll upload it. Hopefully it'll be all right. And then here's another thing about jizya that just came up in the news, and this is really not true. But if you read the article, it talks about how in its early years it paid a tribute to Barbary pirates. I don't even know what that is, who were jihadis, but this was, under the authority of the Ottoman Caliph. And it's kind of interesting how they try to say that the United States was paying the jizya to the Ottoman Caliph. Yeah. And this is the mentality of Islam. They fully expect to rule the world. And that, the thing is, the truth of the matter is that they're going to. They are going to rule the world under the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about that. That's the article I'm working on too. But, and then some more local news. Steve Madden said he's a big time shoe manufacturer.
Yeah.
He's closing down. He's closing down his production in China because of the tariffs, which is good. Bring manufacturing back to the United States, give jobs to all the Gen Zs that don't want to work because they really need to get a job, and support themselves and move out of mom and dad's house, and start supporting this country. Let's bring manufacturing back. Let's build this country back up. I'm all for that. And then a couple other things that are going on, right? A massive Chinese cyber attack, putting a federal agency on alert. They're told they can't use their phones because of a Chinese cyber attack happening right now. And at the same time, China's unveiling a 1.4 trillion debt package, signaling desires for a deal with Trump. What this deal is that they don't want Trump to enforce the tariffs.
Yeah.
So they're trying to talk to him.
I really hope and pray he doesn't get it.
And they're warning of more cyber attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, China is
That's like Annie was saying.
China's-
They're not happy right now.
No, and they're not just going to
Mm-mm.
sit back and just let all this happen. You know, their
No.
100-year plan is coming to
He's
a
not
close.
in
They're
office
trying
yet.
to accelerate it. They're,
They
you
have
know,
a couple months.
I don't
Said he's going to raise
really.
the tax.
Huh?
Sorry.
He said he's going to raise the tax on the tariffs.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean that's what we've been. You know, I will be really, really, really surprised
If he makes
if
inauguration.
Trump actually is inaugurated and it's a peaceful transition and nothing catastrophic happens before then. You know, I will be very surprised. You know, and if
You know
that
what?
does,
I'm thinking that our own government is going to go after him, not any other country.
well, that too. Yeah,
Oh,
It's
that's
our own
definitely
government that's
happening.
that's
after
part
him.
of it. Yeah, there's the they and the Dems, the left, the deep state, whatever you want to call them. You know, definitely they've got plans. And then there's China, and you know, and everything else. And so here's what I was going to say: is if that actually does happen, I will be really, really, really surprised. And what it will prove to me, beyond any doubt whatsoever,
Thank
is
God.
that God is absolutely in control. He's
Oh,
the one.
yeah.
He's the one that stopped all their plans for control over the last 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He destroyed their efforts there. They failed utterly.
Mhm.
He caused Trump to win.
Mhm.
Yes.
If
For a
Trump,
reason.
if there's a peaceful transition to power, it's going to be because God made it happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anything that they try to pull is not going to override God's plan.
Exactly.
Right,
So-
unless it's part of his plan.
Yeah. And you can guarantee they're going to try.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
They're going to try some shenanigans. But if God wants it to happen, it's going to happen. And that's the thing. I can see this leading to the confirmation of
Me
the covenant.
too. Me
You
too.
know, and wouldn't it be awesome if I'm actually right that in 2025
You
they
probably
signed a peace
are. You
treaty?
usually
probably
are
And then-
right.
And then we got 7 years left. We got three and a
Yeah.
half years before the Antichrist takes over. And that, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there were 3.5 years. I know that there's so much false doctrine out there about prophecy, this 7-year Armageddon nonsense. This is all stuff that came from the 1800s that was lies and just totally false teaching on prophecy. And it's all made its way to today. And everybody still just regurgitates the lie and teaches that, and it is not true. If you haven't been to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, please go there and just watch the videos on the first page, on the home page, and maybe go and look into the prophecy tab, the other videos there. But just watching the ones on the first page, I think will really, really open your eyes. And I'm not saying that you're all blind. I'm just saying that I had to have my eyes opened, and I was fooled into thinking all of these false doctrines. I learned the truth from the Word of God, and I that's all I want to do is help other people to understand the lies, because Satan's lies go way beyond just worldly things and false religions. The lies go deeply embedded in the church today, and the prophecy doctrines, truth doctrines, the identity of Christ. I mean, even salvation itself is a lie in the church today. Satan is very, very, very busy, and the lying wonders of Satan have blanketed this world completely in darkness. And that's what I'm here for, is to try to help people to see that and understand that. And then this picture here, Jesus said it would be as the days of Lot, right? When he returns. And this is an image that's depicting the two angels that went into Sodom and Gomorrah to bring Lot and his family out. And how all of the men All of the men were trying to get to they were trying to beat down Lot's door to get to these angels because they were very beautiful creatures. They were trying to get to them to do you know what with them, and God, the angels actually caused them all to be blind and they couldn't even find the door.
Good.
And this is the state of the world today. The
Uh,
Western
I
world,
almost feel like it's worse.
and 2 Timothy just, in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. This is so the world today, and this is even so many people in the church today that fit this description. We're so there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're so there. And then I wanted to show this to everyone. This is the meme of the day. I got to reduce it so it'll all fit on the screen here. So, flesh or spirit, right? Worldly lusts or worldly purity, right? What do we place our importance on? If we call ourselves a Christian, what's important to us? That we're happy or that we're holy?
That we're holy.
Right? Are we transformed to be in the image of God, or are we conformed to the world? Right? Do we live in the flesh or do we walk in the spirit? Because that's what Paul teaches us, is to walk in the spirit, because we're constantly battling with the flesh. And this is, if we call ourselves a Christian, our desire should be to be holy. We should be on that journey to holiness. We should be constantly seeking God's face. We should care about truth and separation and evangelism, being a soldier in the army, and understanding truth. Having knowledge means reading the Bible from cover to cover and understanding God's word. We should care about holiness and who we associate with, and wisdom from God, instead of our self-importance and our status and the pleasures and happiness and our wealth and entertainment and our food and sex and everything the world says is so important. Do we call ourselves a Christian? Which side of this do we tend to be on? Right, this is a question we need to take God seriously if we're a Christian. It's not this, happy-go-lucky hippie dude that the church seems to think Jesus is. No, he's the mighty God manifest in the flesh. And he's holding back his wrath right now. And we need to have a healthy fear of God. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, is what the scriptures tell us. So, meme of the day. If you're a Christian, you need to really seriously think on this. If you're not on that right side with the way you think, right? Your mental attitude. What do you pursue in life? It should be godly. Not worldly, not desiring to be happy, but to be holy. So that's it for the news. I'm going to flip to our discussion on, now I'm going to go to BibleProphecyandTruth.com for anyone new. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit to where this video is, where the stage is set. And I'm going to click on this documentation tab. This is what we've been studying. This is part 3 this week, or this live, and we're gonna be looking at who is they today. But just a real fast recap. Remember, Satan is working on destroying the Western world through immigration. He's already destroyed Europe. Pretty much done deal there. Trying to fast track it in the U.S. economic collapse. I mean, the COVID lockdown, supply chain disruptions, they're trying to reduce our food supply so they can create it for us and control us through food supply. That, creating a civil war, a race war. Racism was almost dead, but they're trying to revive it. But now it's okay to hate white people, right? They're trying to recreate racism and create disunion and civil war. Putin and Islam and Israel and China and the war that's coming, that predicted in the Bible, an army of 200 million. These are things we've already discussed last time and the time before. So I'm not going to talk about it again, but just a quick recap. And so we're looking at all of these things. We're looking at the Antichrist creating a 10-nation union, which is the 10 kings of the fourth beast of Daniel 7, that becomes a single beast in Revelation 13 with the other 3 nations. So there's going to be 13-nation union that the Antichrist uses for his political and military power base. Islam is waiting with universal anticipation for their Mahdi because of the false prophecies that Satan set up that are mirrored prophecies of the Bible, but exact duplicates of the Bible's prophecies. And so all of the world will be fooled when this happens. When the prophecies of the Bible come to pass, the Muslims will think it's their prophecy. The Catholics will think it's their prophecy, the great monarch and the final glorious Pope. And the Jews will think it's part of Judaism's prophecy and the Mashiach returning and Christ, their Messiah, even because they missed the Messiah, right? Those that are non-Messianic Jews do not believe in Jesus, and they're waiting for the Messiah still. All of these things, Satan has them set up to utterly be fooled. So we talked about all that. We know that Satan knows prophecy. Satan knows prophecy better than I do. And God has been gracious to me and shown me, revealed to me the truth of prophecy through his word and how it all fits together. You can't take one little part of prophecy and expect to understand it, just like you don't take one little part of truth in the Bible and try to understand it without combining it with the rest of the Bible and putting it all in context with the entire word. Prophecy is the same way. All of prophecy fits together. All of it does. And you can't just take one little prophecy out of Revelation and think you understand prophecy. You've got to put it together with Daniel and Zechariah and Joel, Ezekiel. It all fits together perfectly. And when you understand it, it's like this grand mosaic painting that God painted, and it all fits together, all the different parts and pieces, like a grand puzzle. That you're finished putting the puzzle pieces together and you see this big picture, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing. Just for anyone who's new, if you go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, the very first video is the big picture, which I'm talking about right now, this big grand mosaic painting that God painted. Watch that video, and then watch the rest of the videos on this homepage. Specifically what we've been talking about today is prophecy and understanding prophecy. If you watch these 2 videos right here, I think it'll really help a lot in understanding what's going on right now. And then, click on the more like this and watch other videos, but start there, because it'll really, I think it'll really help in kind of dispelling the lies that are out there. There's so many YouTubers that are just spouting nonsense. And Satan has buried the truth under mountains and mountains and mountains of lies. And you've got to get out from under that, or you're going to be deceived along with the rest of the world. Seriously, you've got to start studying and researching yourself, reading the Bible and learning and watching and praying and seeking God in everything you do. Seriously, now is the time. So who is they? Right? There's a they. I mean, I was one of those people where I didn't believe in conspiracy theories. You started telling me about some conspiracy theory. I told you to get your tinfoil hat out, and I didn't really. You had to show me fact, or I didn't even want to talk about it. All right, so that's where I came from. I believe the Bible and I believe facts. And what I've learned is that a lot of the conspiracy theories, just like a lot of the people like me have learned that a lot of them were based on fact. A lot of them were absolutely based on fact. And it's not that I didn't understand that Satan had absolute control and Satan doesn't have his minions. It's just I didn't want to talk about conspiracy theory stuff outside of biblical prophetic understandings. But I've learned that what I've learned over the past few years studying all of this and changing my mind is that, well, Satan has a lot more control than I ever imagined. We have to remember that Satan is not some dumb little evil spirit that all he's doing is just lying and trying to get you to sin. No, he is a very powerful fallen angel, very intelligent super being that has almost absolute control of this world right now. And he's behind right? He's behind the secret society, the whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati, the Cabal, the deep state, the Luciferians, the Freemasons. There is a group of people that worship him as God. They don't think they're worshiping a devil. They think they're worshiping God because he has them utterly deceived.
Yeah.
Remember, the Bible tells us that Satan appears as an angel of light. Right? He doesn't come to them looking like a devil in a red suit, right? He comes to them as an angel of light.
A deity.
Says that he is a deity. Yes. So, and one of the things I point out in this article is, like, why did what they did in the past 4 years look just like Hitler's run up to World War II? Because the media was used for disinformation. Propaganda was used by the Nazi Party for years leading up to and during Hitler's rule, right? He capitalized on economic woes, popular discontent and political infighting, which is they're creating that right now in the Western world. That racism was used to sway opinions and cause division. Schools were used to manipulate and program the children. They took their guns, right? Tell me this doesn't look familiar. This is exactly what they're doing right now. It's what they've been doing for years. This is why? Why? Because Satan did that, and Satan is doing this. It's the same method of operations, right? Satan is doing what worked then, except now he's doing it on a global scale. It's not just Germany. It's not just one guy. Now he's globalized it. He's got the whole world set up. He's got the stage completely set for his takeover with the Antichrist. And then, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about Antiochus Epiphanes, General Titus, the Roman army, how he was, these were supposed to be the Antichrist. And I'm here to tell you that I studied all that. And wow, does Antiochus Epiphanes do everything that the Antichrist does right up until taking over the world, which he never did. Right? because he was not the Antichrist. But Satan used him to do everything that the Antichrist was supposed to do to try to make it happen. Then he tried again with Titus. He tried again with Hitler. I'm sure he's tried with other people that we just don't recognize today and don't remember. It wasn't documented, wasn't big enough for us to know, but he's tried over and over and over to make it happen. He wants to absolutely rule the world. He's waiting for his 15 minutes of fame, right? It's going to be 3.5 years. Well, and he even knows, right? He knows that his time is going to be short when it finally does happen. It tells us in Revelation 12, that he's going to be cast to the earth, and he's going to have great wrath because he knows that he has a short time. He knows it's going to be a short time, but he wants it anyway. I don't know.
Well, he wants to take as many.
He's insane.
There's pride, what God hates.
Yeah, and
pride.
But he wants it, and he's been trying, and he's setting up the world for it to happen. And I, again, I'm not prophesying, but I'm telling you right now that this time we're there.
Yep.
We are there in God's timeline now.
Yep.
We're at the end time. All of the things Jesus said would herald his coming are coming to pass now. All of the signs are happening. The confirmation of the covenant is about to be signed. We're going to go into the final 7 years very soon. And the Antichrist will rule for the final 3.5 years of the final 7. And I know I talked about that a minute ago, and I was going to show you this, because if you don't know what I mean about 3.5 years, and actually, I told you to go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com and watch those videos there. Please do. And go to the prophecy menu or prophecy page and look. I'm pretty sure I have let me just look. I'm pretty sure I have a video I've got Understanding the Prophecy in Present Times 4-part series. I'm pretty sure I have a video on the 3.5 years. 7 trumpets, Islam and the Bible, the wrath of God. I'm going to have to make a video on the 3.5 years. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit when I'm going to be redoing the Who is the Antichrist video. That's the new article I'm working on right now. I thought I had a video on that. I guess I don't. Anyway, I do have an article on it. I'll show you that. Even if you're not new, it's probably been a while since I've showed anyone this. If you go to BibleProphecyandTruth.com, go to the notes menu and go down to e-newsletters archive. And then click on the list and then search for 3.5 years. This article I have right here will show you all of the timelines of the Antichrist and how they're all a 3.5 year period. So please do check it out if this is all new to you and you haven't seen that before. But back to who is they. Satan has the world set up, and and I'm telling you, the Antichrist is going to be a Muslim. I've known this for years, but especially now, you can see how Satan is setting up the world to believe that Islam is really just wonderful religion. And, interfaithism is a big lie that the Catholic Church has been promoting. Pope Francis hit the ground running, promoting interfaithism, trying to tell everyone that all religions worship the same God, when no, they don't. The only religion that worships the one true God is Christianity, because Jesus Christ is God. He's God manifest in the flesh. And if you don't believe that, you don't worship the same God. I have an article that I can show you real quick. Under the notes menu, if you go to, can I be saved if I'm a Jew or a Muslim? There's a couple scriptures here that just say it point blank, that if you deny the Son, you don't have the Father.
Mhm.
Right? If you deny the biblical record, if you don't believe the record God gave of Jesus, then you make God a liar. You don't have the Father. So no, you cannot say, oh, I worship the God of Abraham and have it be true. You can say that all you want. If you don't worship Jesus as God, you don't have God. That's just the simple fact. So interfaithism is a lie from Satan. He's trying to get us all to believe that, because that's what the Antichrist is going to be, a Muslim, and he's going to be promoted by the false prophet, which almost certainly will be Pope Francis or the next Pope. And so they're all going to say, yeah, just convert to Islam. You're going to be saved just like you would if you're a Christian. If you're a Catholic, you'll still be saved and go to heaven, blah, blah, blah. Lie from Satan. This is what they're going to use to convince everyone. Now, the scriptures tell us that the lying wonders of Satan, that the deceit would be so strong that if it were possible, even the very elect would be fooled.
Can I ask you a question?
Hmm.
So Pope Francis thinks that he is the last pope.
Yes, he believes the
So
prophecies, the Catholic prophecies, yes.
so offhand, do you know what that is, that prophecy?
Well, there's a
What do they
prophecy.
think is going to happen?
There's a prophecy from Saint Malachi in the 11th century that there will be 112 popes from his time on. And, well, Pope Francis is the 112th pope.
And for sure, he is the 112th.
He is the 112th pope.
So
from
what do
that
they
time.
think it is? Christ's return, or
So,
what is it?
So let me show everyone. If you go to BibleProphecyandTruth.com, go to Prophecy in the Present Times. And I talk about this in that 4 video series I was just showing you on Prophecy in the Present Times. But if you scroll down, this is a very large document, but if you scroll down to where you see this Chrislam picture, it's about going on about halfway down. I talk about the prophecies of Catholicism. And there's thousands and thousands of prophecies from the Catholics over the last 1700 years. And, most conflict with each other, and a lot of them have been proven already wrong. But there's this central theme of belief and prophecy that there's going to be the great monarch, and he'll be promoted by an angelic pope. And, the great monarch is also the final emperor. You can call him that. But it's, it's supposed to be the second coming of Apollo and so on and so forth. But St. Malachi's prophecy of the 112th Pope is that the final Pope will be an evil Pope. And he'll basically will be the last Pope.
But he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe
Well, no, he
he's
doesn't
gonna be
think
the evil.
he's evil.
So my question is, what does he think he is?
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, that I know.
So the whole prophecy is that this Pope, the last Pope, will be the final glorious Pope, which he believes he is.
Which will
and will bring in this new age.
Oh, okay.
This new glorious age of humanity.
But not the return of Christ.
No.
Because I've heard a Catholic just recently say that they do believe that Christ is returning.
Right. But see, their prophecies say that there's going to be a just war to drive out the apostates, right? That the final Pope is going to create a one world religion, a global religion, which is what Pope Francis is trying to do with interfaithism, trying to put all religions together under one.
They already have those things in Dubai.
Yeah, the temple,
Temples.
the 3-part temple,
Yeah.
I forget what they call it offhand, but it's, yeah, they've got a Jewish temple, a Christian temple, and an Islamic
Mhm.
temple all there.
It's
And,
very
So-
you know, saying that all religions worship the same God.
So where does the Christ return fit in?
Well,
all of this?
so they believe that there's going to be this period of time where there's this just war, and then I've got a whole lot of documentation. It's been years since I read it. I only put kind of a little synopsis on here, but you know that he's going to be fighting wars and subduing the world that didn't give their allegiance. You know, they kind of put biblical prophecy in with their prophecy. And you know, Pope Francis thinks he's the evangelical pope. He's actually said, get ready for the end time. And he believes that he is the final pope, Earth's savior, and this prophesied pope, which going to bring in the great monarch. See, the great monarch will be the Antichrist of the Bible. This is what Satan has set up.
But they don't think that.
Well, they don't think that, no.
Okay.
Just like the Muslims don't think that the Mahdi is going to be the
Okay.
Antichrist. They think it's going to be their Messiah. The Catholics also believe that this great monarch, the final emperor, will be their prophesied good guy, but it will be the Antichrist of the Bible. The final glorious pope will be the false prophet of the Bible that supports the Antichrist, because the final pope is going to support the great monarch when he comes on the scene.
So their great monarch. Well, maybe they believe that their great monarch is actually God, right?
Well, no, they just think he's a man that's going to bring in this period of peace. I don't. I'll have to go back and I'd have to go back and read all that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been years since I've kind of read it. I kind of put a synopsis of it here, but there's so many different conflicting prophecies.
Okay.
But this is the central theme that most Catholics believe, that the great monarch is going to come. There's going to be a just war, but then it's going to be a period of peace that he will bring, which is what the Mahdi of Islam is supposed to do.
I'd like to know who in their mind this great monarch is, because I've heard them say Seamus. Somebody had asked him if he believed that Jesus was actually come again, and he said, well, yes.
Yeah.
But he didn't elaborate because they didn't have enough time for him to elaborate. So I'm thinking, well, he's Catholic, so where is this all fitting in? I'm just kind of curious. And
well, it's very much a mirror of Islamic prophecy, which is an exact duplicate mirror of biblical prophecy, where the great monarch and the angelic pope will be the Antichrist and the false prophet. And there's supposed to be a war. There's supposed to be this period of peace, and you know the great monarch was supposed to bring this union to the world of one world religion.
So do the Catholics believe that God is coming back at any certain time?
I don't think that they understand the end time like we do. I think that, if I remember right, they think that this is going to bring a period of peace, which would then lead to the coming of the second coming of Christ, but not in the same way the Bible says, right?
Because they don't really read the Bible.
When the Battle of Armageddon happens, they're going to fight against Jesus, thinking he is the Antichrist, even though they themselves are the Antichrist. Yeah, just like Islam, same thing. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then on this page too, I also have the duplicate prophecies from Islam, which are a little more detailed. This is just kind of it's kind of just a summary of kind of central beliefs, because there are so many different prophecies in Catholicism and different beliefs and different conflicting ones. And so but there is a similar, there's a central theme that most of them believe.
Just like the Jews.
Right.
They're Moshiach.
The Moshiach. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, check it out, and I'll
They
dig up all the old documentation that I've got.
Yeah, I would like
If
to
you
see
wanna read
that.
it.
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Moshiach, they think the Moshiach is alive and well on the earth right now.
Well, I remember we saw videos where
Oh,
we
yeah.
actually saw a video of the guy that some Jews believe
Do you
is the
think that
Moshiach.
he is their Moshiach? Do you really think that
Well,
that's the dude?
Well, the thing about the Jewish prophecies is the Moshiach, the Moshiach is in some sects of Judaism is supposed to die twice for some reason, and it's just kind of weird beliefs. But yeah, it could be the man Satan is setting up as their Mashiach. Yes, because to them the Mashiach is the Messiah, right?
Yeah. So the Mashiach, when are they saying that he's going to come?
Well,
He's
remember
already
Wondering if
there.
all these
we-
people, all
we
these
watched-
religions are going to think he's coming in 2032, and here God comes along, and they're
well, remember we watched videos of the guy that they think is the Mashiach.
Is already here.
He's like the
a young guy.
He's the youngest high-level rabbi. I don't know, ever or in a very long
I want to
time
see
or
a
something
picture
like
of
that.
him.
But yeah, well, I don't want to try to dig it up right now, but I have the
Okay.
video still, and I actually
Thought you'd
show
never
it.
ask.
I show the video on this when you go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com and scroll down to false religions, and when I talk about the rabbinic Jews here in this video, I actually have part of the video of the Mashiach in that, what they believe is the Mashiach. Yeah. So you could watch that. So back to who is they. We have to remember that Satan is behind all this, that Satan is infiltrating the entire world with Islam, creating interfaithism, creating a worldwide base of Islam, because they're all over now. The only place Islam, and you have to remember, even in communism, even in Russia, there's about 15% Muslim population there. In the US, it's 1 or 2%. In Russia, it's 15%. China is the one place where they pretty much have kept Islam out.
China?
Yeah.
Well, they're slaves.
Yeah.
The Uyghur Muslims are
they make them slaves, yeah. And that's the thing, if you've been with us for a while, you know that I believe that China will probably be at least a major part of the destruction from World War III, from the Sixth Trumpet War, where a third part of men die. I believe that China is going to take the major brunt of that destruction.
There's 1 billion people in China and there's 1 billion people in India.
Yeah. Well, there's
almost.
There's 1.6 billion in China. There's like 1.3 in India. There's
2 billion people.
There's close to 3 billion between the two nations. Yeah. And I know that's kind of flipping the other way because China's population is dwindling while India's is growing. So I don't know if those numbers are accurate. They might be growing the other way, but they're still pretty close to 3 billion between the two. Yeah. So yeah, China buying people. China has been so busy in the United States for 70 years now.
Yeah.
Going on 80 years. It's all part of their 100-year plan, where they're infiltrating our governments. They're infiltrating our school systems. They're infiltrating everything. They're hacking and putting Trojans in place and just waiting and biding their time because it's literally a 100-year plan. And we're going on approaching 80 years in now.
Yeah.
And they're trying to accelerate it because of the problems in China, the weakness of the United States, everything else going on in the world. They're trying to accelerate that plan. They want us, and they've been part of trying to get us involved in the war in Israel with Islam, the war in Russia and Ukraine. They want us to be involved in multi-front wars so that we're spread too thin to
Right.
stop them from executing their plans, taking over Taiwan, pushing their way into the world and taking over as the leader. They really want that, and they're really pushing it. And Satan is behind that too. Satan has so many battlefronts going on. It's mind-boggling to understand the level of control that Satan has in the world right now, and all the manipulations that he's got going on, all the people that he has totally deceived, got working for him, and most of them don't even know it. They're just deceived utterly into believing this idea of a utopia, new age of mankind. This is one of the elites, the promise of their God, right? The elites, their promise, the secret society, the ones that actually do worship Lucifer, even though they believe he is their God, they think that that the world is about to change, that all of the things they're doing is going to cause the world to be rebuilt from the ashes, where they will be the kings over this new utopian existence. And that's their promise from their God, even though their God hates them, is lying to them, and will stab them in the back when the day comes. So all of this is going on. That Satan has been doing this. He's been building this for centuries now, literally. And that's why he has so much control. So, there's the WEF, with Klaus Schwab, there's Soros, there's all these different people like Bill Gates, and there's so many levels of deceit and corruption and bribery and blackmail and control of one way or another, where he has absolute fingers from the very top levels all the way down.
Is Bill Gates still doing anything?
Oh yeah.
Because I haven't heard
He's
anything.
trying to he's
buying up farmland. He's trying to create this, he's the one behind all of this, fake meat and eating bugs and things. Still pushing, new vaccines and things like that. Absolutely still wants to, Bill Gates has been very vocal and not hiding the fact that he wants to reduce the population. That's one of his big goals, is to reduce the population of the planet, to make it sustainable, right? So
Jay said he's actually saying he's willing to work with the Trump administration.
Oh, I know. It's like
they're all trying to save themselves now.
He actually did it in such a way that he actually thinks that Trump would actually invite him to be in the administration. It's like, does he really think Trump is that stupid?
Because the list is about ready to come out, and I wanted to say something about that.
The list, yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to say something about Jeffrey Epstein. I thought was really interesting for those who know about Luciferianism. And the all-seeing eye. Well, I was watching a podcast today that this person was in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan apartment, or it's not really a home, but I guess it's a big apartment where he lived. And there were eyes like all over the apartment. There were photographs of eyeballs. There were
paintings,
portraits of eyes. Yeah. They said there were just eyes all over the place. And if anyone knows anything about the all-seeing eye,
I've got
that's
a
what I was
here.
trying to say, Jody. Was about the all-seeing eye all over.
And that's what on the Stages Set document I've got a link here on the all-seeing eye, and this is just this is very little information, but it it goes all the way back to the Delta Phi Omicron Order of the Freemasons from ages ago, right? But if you understand Delta Omicron, those two words might ring a bell, right? The Delta and the Omicron variants. And
there you go. The all-seeing eye.
And the 666 with the all-seeing eye. This is something you see celebrities do a lot because they're all part of it.
Yeah, they do this
and
they do this.
The all-seeing eye is a Luciferian thing, right? And it's been around for centuries. It's all about Satan worship, the 33rd degree Freemasons. And if you don't know anything about the Freemasons, my father-in-law was a 32nd degree Freemason.
Yeah, me and Annie's dad. Yeah, 32nd.
And he 32nd degree,
Yeah.
and he always said that he could never get an invite to the 33rd degree, the final level. They would never invite him, and you couldn't ask for it. You couldn't go and do anything to gain a level. In the Freemasons, you have to be invited. And for every single level, there's oaths you have to take, there's things you have to do, promises you have to make. And what they do is they use 32 levels to determine whether or not you would be a candidate for the 33rd degree. Well, he was not a candidate.
No.
He would never do the things they do in the 33rd degree, so he was never invited. But they use this as a false front. 32 levels of Freemasonry all believe that there's nothing sinister going on.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll argue about it.
Oh, yes.
Till they're blue in the face. There's nothing going on, but it's the 33rd degree that.
I always thought it was weird that he wanted to be in that one. It was some sort
It's
of
a club.
secret
Well, it was a club
society.
to him.
He said like a secret society.
Yeah. And it was just they had their secret
wanna do that?
handshakes and all that, and they're supposed to support each other.
They do their little oaths.
And that's the facade that's so perfectly set up that it fools everyone. They hide behind that facade, and every Freemason up to 32nd degree will argue that there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a big social club. It's nothing.
You can make it sound like that to me. I thought there was something weird.
Yeah, see,
What he
I
was
didn't.
saying. He didn't make it sound like some fun club.
It's
Because
very secret society is what it is.
he would have a meeting to go to, and you couldn't bring your kids and your family. And I thought that was weird.
But that's how they filter. They filter the candidates all the way up through the 32nd degree. And if you're not the kind of person that would do the things they do in the 33rd degree, you never get invited.
Yeah.
And that's how they keep it so secret.
The woman had it was something star. Well, me and Mom actually belonged to it.
Oh yeah. It's the female Freemasons. Yeah.
The what?
The Eastern Stars.
Yeah, Eastern Stars.
the
And me and Mom
Freemasons,
were in it for a few years, but then we just stopped paying our dues.
Yeah. But this is how then, and you have to remember that Freemasonry has been around for literal centuries.
Yeah.
A long time, and it has spread across. There's almost no nation in the world that doesn't have at least a lodge.
Oh.
Most countries have many lodges. And I've got a whole article on the puppet master and video that you should watch too, because who the actual head of the snake is actually very surprising. Actually, I have a link to it right here in this Who Is They article, the puppet master and who it is.
It's funny because they have Knights of Columbus, which are the Catholic. Supposed to be the Catholic Masonic Lodge, which is really dumb, but they have their own thing, the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah.
The Knights of Columbus are really well known, and they do charitable things. I mean,
Well, the Masonic Lodge
so
does
the
too.
Masonic Lodge does, yeah. They do a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, they did. And the Scottish.
It just sounded really weird.
Scottish
to me when we
Rite.
talked about it.
But it's all a facade.
The Shriners.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just a facade that's used.
Well, Dad.
They use it to find people to bring into the 33rd degree. They literally do.
Well, Dad, you have to understand, you remember that Dad liked to pretend like he was part of the FBI and stuff, you know, like every story, like he's the one who was in the, you know, the raising the flag in Iwo Jima, and he was like part of the guys that were holding up the flag.
So he was a storyteller.
Yeah, he was like part of that, and you know, there was, he was just so. You couldn't take him seriously, really.
He was a fun guy. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to move on. The thing is that we have to remember that Satan is behind this. That Satan is setting up all of these. Everything that's going on is a product of Satan's manipulations and deceit over the years. He has manipulated mankind to where we are today. He's absolutely the God of this world, as the scriptures tell us. And it's, you know, it really is. It's time to get right with God, right? It really is. And in this article, I talk about how I wasn't a conspiracy theorist, but there was a couple people that showed me some things that I was like, God must want me to see this. And that's when I started researching and learned, whoa, this is way beyond what I ever thought. Because I always knew the Antichrist was coming. I knew that Satan was going to rule the world through him, but I had no idea how much control Satan already had until I learned all of this. And we have to remember, Satan is not some dumb evil spirit. He's a very powerful fallen angel that has infiltrated our societies, taken control of our governments, and has almost complete control of this world right now. And we need to remember that, you know, because, and we need to be involved in this war. We need to be a soldier in this army right here. You know, the wrestling, the battle that's going on, the war that's raging all around us right now is against principalities, powers, and rulers of darkness in this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. This is the battle that's going on right now that we need to be a part of. That's what we're doing right here. We are partaking as soldiers in the army of the mighty God. So I kind of go through that, talk about the facade, the Freemasons, and it's not just the Freemasons. That's one of the big high-level organizations of the secret society. But Satan's got all kinds of groups, all kinds of peoples gathered, and, you know, doing his bidding, this evil stuff.
Yeah, didn't it start out with the Knights of
the Templars?
Yeah, the Knights of Templar or whatever it's called. Way
back, yeah.
They were all a part of that, right?
Well, it's become, yes. They this link that I have here, there's one picture that I'll show you. You know, who's the puppet master? This is something that I had to research, and I want to show you a picture. This is who is it? It's Pope John Paul II. This is an actual picture.
Yeah.
What's the circle?
Well, this is pointing out what he's holding. This is the Triple Cross. This is a very, very evil Luciferian artifact here. The Triple Cross, this staff that he has in his hand. This is the Triple Cross, and it's a symbol of the Knights Templar and the Sovereign Grand Commander. Also, the Knights of the Triple Cross. This is a Luciferian artifact.
Yeah, it is.
That goes centuries back. That this Pope is carrying around. And I'm just going to leave it there. If you want to research that article, please do. I've also got a video on it. But it's mind blowing when you learn who the puppet master really is. But we're running out of time, so I want to finish this article today. But I think I've actually probably talked about it enough. We know that Satan's behind it all. We know that there's this battle going on. Some of the things that the Bible tells us, right, is that Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. The God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Satan has these people utterly deceived. They're not worshiping a devil. They don't believe they're worshiping an evil creature. They just think they're worshiping a God. Mm-hmm. He has them utterly, totally deceived. And and it's the power and signs and the lying wonders of Satan that has enveloped the world in darkness today. And all of these things, the deep state, the Illuminati, the secret society, they're all part of Satan's manipulations. They're all part of the machinations of the devil and setting up the world, destroying the West so that he can bring out his Antichrist and take over the world. That's what it's all about. So, the Freemasons, 90% of them don't even know there's anything going on. It's all a perfect facade. It's been something that's been created and refined for centuries. That's why it's so well hidden today, because it's centuries in the making. And they really do. They think we're stupid. They flaunt it in our faces. They don't even comprehend that their God hates them. They think they're going to get what they've been promised, but he's going to stab them in the back. We have to remember that Daniel 11 tells us about the Antichrist, as well as many other places. But it talks about how after the league made with him, he will work deceitfully, right? He's going to exalt himself and magnify himself, and he's going to honor the God of forces, and he's going to cause them to rule over many and divide the land for gain. That Satan's going to bring out his Antichrist and stab all these elites and people in the back, but those that are the most loyal will get crumbs. He'll divide the land up, give those crumbs to people that are the most loyal to him after they get stabbed in the back. And the Bible tells us how all this is going to play out. And it's absolutely mind-blowing to know that most of these people think they're going to be the rock star, right? They're all infighting. They're fighting each other to see who's going to be king. They all want to be the man at the top. Mm-hmm. But it's funny how they stab each other in the back. But, we have to remember Satan is ultimately behind it, that there is a they, but the they is not such a mysterious thing. It's the manipulations of Satan. It's them being used and deceived by the devil. That's why we need to understand that, and we need to be in this battle. We need to be fighting this battle together. So then at the end of that, I've got, some other, the puppet master, the all-seeing eye stuff, mm-hmm. So this is just part of how Satan has the stage set with these secret societies and these people that are so utterly deceived by him, and how he's just manipulating all of the, we've seen, that's the thing is, even if you are not a conspiracy theorist and you don't believe all this stuff, you cannot deny what happened over the last 4 years. Right. And how there was a force controlling all of the world during this pandemic and the cure, and all the control mechanisms they tried to put in place. But remember, God's in control. God caused that to utterly fail. Praise God. I'm glad. The
Yeah,
Antichrist is not here yet. And it's not going to happen until God is ready for it to happen. Remember, he's waiting. He's grieving at his heart the evil and wickedness in the world. And he's only waiting so that he can save as many of us as is possible. And he's waiting until that penultimate moment where he can save the most of us without us utterly being destroyed.
Yeah.
That's what God's doing. So I talk about these things, what he's going to do, that he's going to come in the name of peace, and he's going to deceive. He's going to come in deceitfully and take over the world through, who's this? Satan. Right? That he's going to sell his soul to rule the world. And Satan is going to rule through him. The false prophet's going to do miracles in the sight of the beast.
That would
to
really
promote him.
suck if you ended up being the Antichrist. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, right now he's just a normal man, but he's going to
Yeah.
sell his
He's
soul
very
to
evil
Satan.
man.
he's an
He's
evil
very-
man.
He's
not,
an evil man.
He's not just a normal man.
Well, I
And
mean,
he
he's a
doesn't
man
have
without the
some
forces.
return
Is
to
Well,
what I'm saying.
Right, he is just a human being.
He ain't the
true.
Antichrist yet.
Yeah.
So that
But-
would just suck.
Yeah. But Satan,
Yeah. And someone says, "You're the Antichrist." No, I'm not.
Am I?
well, he won't even think he's the Antichrist
You're
in the end.
different.
He's not a believer. He's not a true believer.
No.
And he's going to think that all these other religions are false, that the God he worships is the true God to him.
Do you think
Yeah.
he's a Luciferian?
Well, certainly.
So you think he's already a Luciferian, and
I
then
would
maybe
I
he's
would
going
bet
to...
he is
Yeah.
alive and well
Oh,
today and
okay.
serving Satan, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
So to wrap it up, Satan is using his Muslim minions, has been for decades, to propagate this lie about how Israel's responsible for everything and we should all hate the Jews. He's got half the world hating the Jews today. And when the Jews are just, they're people just like us. They're unfortunately only the Messianic Jews or Christians are going to be saved like us. That the Jews that don't believe in Jesus are just as lost as the rest of the world. There's, but Islam is a religion of Jew hatred. They've been propagandizing the Western world. They've been in our schools for decades. This is why all of our college-age kids believe that we should hate the Jews and love Hamas and rapist, pedophile murderers, slavers. We should love those people because they've been indoctrinated and brainwashed in school.
Yeah, they closed school down the day after Trump
I
got
know.
elected.
Yeah.
So they could take
could
the
more,
day off, and then
yeah.
they had safe places at the
Yeah,
school.
it's so dumb.
They literally
then-
served them milk and cookies so that they could recover from Trump becoming president. Literally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They
Yeah.
sure did. This is what
But-
they've created.
But this whole propaganda thing is what the QAnon crowd are really fooled by. Everybody says, "Oh, QAnon was right." Well, no, they were right about some things, but not everything. Just because they were right about a couple things doesn't mean we should believe everything they do. The world is not flat, for one thing. There's
Yeah.
all of the QAnon stuff is not true. Some of the things were true, but the QAnon crowd had been fooled by the propaganda of Islam into thinking that Israel's responsible for all the evil and they're all the bad guys and they rule the world and they control everything, even though they don't really seem to have the ability to control anything, but they're supposed to control the world, right? This is it's all the lies of Satan. the lying wonders of Satan that come with power and signs. And it's a delusion sent by God for those that don't love him, that have pleasure in unrighteousness, that will be deluded by the lying wonders of Satan. And we're watching it happen. We're watching 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 happen right now. We're waiting for the coming of the Antichrist. The falling away has already happened. The delusion is already all over the world. You can see the insanity of people, and they're so deluded. And it's all happening right now. So, his lies are going to fool the entire world. And that's what I know we're out of time, so I'm going to stop here, and we'll pick it up here on Wednesday when we have our next live and continue this discussion, because there's just so much to talk about, and I'm really kind of skimming through a lot of it, but there's so much behind how Satan just has absolute control of the world. He has deceived the entire world already. And that's what's so mind-blowing.
This says there's 3 people waiting. I don't know what that means.
Well, hopefully they'll go click on that link.
Yeah.
And I'm going to upload the video when we're done here. But yeah,
But what are they waiting
Rumble's
for?
really, I like Rumble because it's free speech, but they really do have a lot of problems with their videos and live streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have an issue every Bible study.
Yeah. Well,
Rumble.
It's often enough. Yeah. It's annoying. So I'm going to stop there. And, thanks everyone for being here. I'm going to pray real quick and we'll say goodbye. Thank you, Lord, for waiting so that we can be saved. Even though the world is so evil, wicked, and you're grieved in your heart. We grieve with you, Lord. Help us to just get a fire, to be a soldier in your army, Lord. To fight against the lying wonders of Satan. To wield the sword of truth, Lord. In your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. You know what I was thinking? All but 8 people thought that Noah was crazy.
Yeah.
All but
The
8
whole
people.
world. Yeah, billions of people.
Yeah.
In the
So
world.
I can just imagine. I know there's a lot of people. No, I mean there's a few people that come on that view our live stream and then afterwards. But how many people actually stop in and go cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo? And I always feel like those are the people are just the same as during Noah.
Yeah, the days of Noah. Yeah.
That he was
Like,
trying to tell them, and they just.
Well, they must have said to him, it's never rained. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what is that?
Why are you building a boat on dry land?
Yeah, there's no lake around here.
Yeah, what is a lake?
Until the rain started, and then they all came running.
What's this?
And then they were banging on the doors trying to get in, but they did and then I'm sure it was just awful. Noah and his family were like, why didn't you listen then? It's too late. I know there's a lot of people that think it's crazy. I
know a lot of people come to our channel and then go away, and they're like, oh, you guys are nuts. Partly because they believe all the lies of Satan in the church, and they don't want to hear any of the stuff we talk about.
Theory stuff.
And a lot of them believe in this pre-trib rapture. We're not going to be here for any of this stuff. So you don't know what you're talking about.
I believe the same thing, but I don't believe that anymore.
But that's, hopefully I planted some seeds, and that's really what it's all about. Is trying to plant some seeds, trying to get people to read their Bible and get people to study this instead of just believing the YouTubers
Yeah. Yeah.
that are spouting nonsense and
Yeah.
actually seek God. That's what it's all about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jay and Jody were in chat, and they actually
Yeah.
came over to the YouTube. They were
Yeah.
they both made it. I was like, oh, I know they're going to catch on and they'll come over.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're watching from Rumble, it's because we've uploaded it to Rumble, and you
Yeah.
missed the live, and we feel so bad. It really
Yeah.
wasn't our mistake. It was
Yeah.
Rumble.
I don't know what happened there, but it just
Now
stopped.
on, if we're having any computer problems, everyone can just go to YouTube.
Then go to YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Or the
It's
video
still-
site. Yeah.
yeah,
videos.
late with the
So
message. Yeah,
thanks
it's
for-
okay, Jay.
Thanks for being here with us, everyone.
Jay,
Appreciate
Jody.
you, Jay and Jody.
Yeah, Jay,
Yeah.
Jody, we love you so much.
God bless you.
Yeah, they both said thank you.
And everyone that watches later and everyone
Yeah.
that'll be watching later after
Mhm.
I upload it. We love you all.
Yeah, we love you.
Interesting
Thanks
stuff,
so much.
guys.
Sissy, I love you.
Love you.
And we're going to put a
So-
banner up real quick before we go.
I have so much to do. I can't
just
remember all my little
so
responsibilities.
that our channels are all there.
Anyway, so
Don't forget to smash that like button,
subscribe to the
give it a
channel.
big thumbs up, and ring
Share-
that notification bell. Don't miss
share-
any updates.
Yep.
Share the show.
She was like dying. She was like, no, I'm not waiting for you to do all your thing.
Share the show with everyone. you
Everything
know.
she said. Everything she said.
Share,
And do
share,
it
share.
now.
Help us reach more people because
Yes,
I
don't
know.
be selfish.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there
Don't be
that
selfish
just
with this
don't
good news.
believe, that don't want to hear the truth, but it's those one or two people that we do this for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
If you're out there and you're listening and you have doubts, read the Bible for
Yeah.
yourself. Don't take Dan's word for it.
exactly.
Right.
Don't take
Just
anyone's
a
word
man.
for it. Read the
Read
Bible.
for God. God has given him the gift to teach, and he wants him to teach you this.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
have an open mind about it and just read the Bible.
Yeah.
You sound like the radio. All those out in nighttime world.
Well, I appreciate it. I do appreciate it,
We're going
Diane.
to see you at midnight again
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Tune
Don't-
in tomorrow. If you're out there and you're lonely and you're just
Yeah.
listening to this channel.
But seriously,
all friends
she
here.
makes a good point.
Yeah.
We need to read the Bible for ourselves. We
Mhm.
need
Yes, don't
Yeah.
be too prideful to read your Bible.
Mhm.
So if
Yeah.
you wake up during the middle of the night and you're feeling compelled to pick that Bible up, do it for us now. Do it for yourself. Do it for God. Now, WF 105.
Oh, it's so funny. That's the way it sounds, though. Is it late?
like a late
That's
night
how I talk
radio
on the
show.
phone.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must- That must be what people on the phone hear when I talk to them on the phone for work.
Yeah.
You sound like you're a robot. Well, thank you.
They hired me to sound like that. Anyways, I hope everybody has a great week.
Press 1 for yes and 2 for no.
Thank you all for
Sleep.
being here.
Yeah.
Sticking it out.
Have a great week.
I hope it was educational. It
Yeah.
was entertaining.
This
at
last
least.
part was.
Don't be that one who has to knock on the door of the ark. Be the one
Yeah.
in the ark.
Yeah. So God bless you all. We're going to say goodbye now.
Have a great week.
And
We're
we
getting
will
off
see
right
you
now.
on
Love you
Wednesday.
guys.
It's covered up. What is that? All right, Sissy, love you.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Thank you, Diane.